dilemma of the reading music. So the guitar quartet I was reading, and I think you can tell I'm wearing my glasses. Those players are wearing glasses, and I keep looking over to the left. In fact, here, why don't you show show what we have from my perspective?
Yes.
And this is music that Chuck printed out on his oversized printer.
Ethan, 2 questions. When do you use a bus, and when do you know when to insert them into a channel or how best to insert them in a channel?
Well, that's a great question, and this comes up a lot because there was 2 ways you can add an effect to a track in a DAW program or in a hardware mixer, and that's either as a channel insert or you can put it on the bus. Effects that add new content, like reverb or echo. When you have echo, it's actually adding echoes. You have hello, and the echo effect goes hello, 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 hello. And reverb is really echo. It's just a whole bunch of echoes, as opposed to an effect that does something to the sound. Like an equalizer changes the balance between bass, mid-range, and treble. The band, as you know, drops into place from the ceiling, above the ceiling, as the classical guitar is fading out and all these players drop down perfectly in sync. That was all done with track motion. So I started actually at this point. I said, okay, a quarter second, whatever, before the band actually starts playing. Because every single one has a point here and a point right at the beginning of the clip, a motion point. And this is the final position right there. Everybody is in position. And here is the same thing up at the top. And I just did this manually. If you click on this thing and hit the down arrow key, or up and down arrow keys, you can move it in tiny, tiny increments. So I just adjusted that until the bottom of that guitar player, the bottom of his feet, was just barely visible, just off the top of the screen. In the guitar quartet section, there's a bass player, and he spins around, and it turns into the guitar player in the middle. That was done with 2 different techniques at the same time. One track fades out just as the other one fades in, but there's also track motion on both of these. So one spins as he comes in, and the other one spins as he comes out. So at the beginning, it's here, and in the middle, Vegas automatically creates all the in-between motions. I use this mostly for myself, and I do record others in here, not for hire anymore, but I've had entire small orchestras in here, and string sections and all kinds of things. When I recorded my cello concerto, I had literally a full orchestra in here, piece by piece, and it's just a lot easier. Communication is much easier. You don't have to keep running back and forth from one room to the other and seeing through the glass and worrying about headphone levels. And though we do use headphones, and I use headphones, you just turn off the loudspeakers. You can hear it's all the same instruments, all the same notes are being played, everything is exactly the same, except one sounds, I think, pretty exciting, and the other sounds really dull, boring, and lackluster. Ambience is a very important effect. It's just reverb, but it's very short, and I'm going to just turn that on and off. That sounds a little like a bathroom, and that's actually kind of a lot of ambience. I don't usually put that much on tracks. And notice the echo automation here, where it's turned off. And then it comes back on. There's an equalizer, a wah-wah, and a delay all happening together here. Without the wah-wah, it's just a lot of buses. The reason I have separate ones for left, right, and center is when you have an instrument pan to the left, you really don't want some of its reverb coming out of the right, unless it's a special effect. The rhythm guitar, I used an amp simulator, and I might have mentioned this. I wasn't sure how much distortion I was really going to want on the rhythm guitar, so I recorded with a modest amount of distortion. Here's... And that's what came out of my amplifier. And again, the equalizer is just some mid-range mud and a little bit of high-end boost, nothing too severe. And I did compress it. It's very gentle. If you look at the gain reduction, you can see it's not dropping a lot. I didn't want a compressed sound. I just wanted to even it out. And the amp sim, finally. And this is a great amp simulator. This is, just came for free with Cakewalk. Again, it doesn't have a pretty face, but it has a lot of presets, and it works great. I mean, it has controls for everything you'd want, drive and presence and volume and all this stuff. Another really great feature in the box is you reuse your plugins on multiple tracks. When I had my professional studio, we had a Gain Brain, we had a Keepex, we had an LA3A, we had a bunch of parametric equalizers. But when you buy a hardware device for however much it costs, you use it once on that one track. If you want to put another compressor on another track, you have to buy another compressor. Within the box, you have you buy your plugins or the plugins that came with your program, and you can use the same compressor 149 times if you want.